Before I begin the actual video, I just want to let everyone know that this video does contain light spoilers for Sonic 3. So if you haven't watched it yet and don't want to be spoiled, just click off the video now and come back when you have watched it. But if you have watched it or just don't care about spoilers, enjoy the video. With the Sonic movie franchise finally bringing in two of its oldest characters, that being Amy Rose, and not just one Metal Sonic, but an entire army of them, the movie now has the potential, after we've already adapted Sonic Adventure 2, the movie now has the potential to adapt two different Sonic games, depending on what direction it wishes to take it in. And I think it's likely it'll adapt some version of Sonic CD because since the end credits scene showed us both Metal Sonic and Amy Rose, both of which who were first introduced in Sonic CD, it would make sense if that was the game they were going to adapt. Because with the second Sonic movie, they were adapting a mix of Sonic the Hedgehog 2 and Sonic 3 and Knuckles, with the introduction of the Master Emerald and Knuckles himself, and also Tails. It makes sense if in this movie, or in the fourth Sonic movie, where we're getting both Amy Rose and Metal Sonic, who were both first introduced in Sonic CD, it makes sense if this would adapt some version of their story, because, well, yeah, we're finally getting introduced to them, would be only fitting. It could also adapt to Sonic Heroes if, depending on if they introduced more characters in the movie that we just haven't been shown yet, or it could like adapt Sonic CD and then make way for Heroes, depending on what characters are in the Sonic 4's end credit screen. And I believe those two games, Sonic CD and Sonic Heroes, are the most likely to get adapted. But that's not the only direction it could take it in. It could also go in its own direction and do something else. But I feel like it would only be fitting if they stuck to at least some version of the game's events. So anyway, but I have seen statements. Now I'm pretty sure this is official, but I'm not sure that Jim Carrey would be willing to come back for Sonic 4. That concerns me slightly because I'm not like after how like brilliantly they at least kind of redeemed and killed off Eggman or Robotnik. I'm not sure how good bringing him back would be because like we already know Shadow survived due to the end credit screen, so we know Shadow is like canonically alive, and I'm pretty sure we're also getting a spin-off about him, but don't quote me on that. But Robotnik's like felt like a fitting character end. Like he finally was kind of atoning for everything he did, and he like finally acknowledged Agent Stone as like his friend, and like maybe his only friend. Actually, no, definitely his only friend. So yeah. So I don't know if bringing him back would undermine his sacrifice, but there is a way to bring back Eggman without like having him to be without undermining his sacrifice. If they're adapting Sonic CD's plot, it could be like an alternate future Eggman where in Sonic 2, Sonic and or Team Sonic just lost in Sonic 2, and like Eggman went on to steal all of Sonic's power and like rule the world with an army of Metal Sonics. If they're adapting that story, then maybe Eggman did exactly what he said he was going to do. He went on to conquer the universe, and he conquered his universe, like the entirety of it, and then he went on to the multiverse and going to the timeline that where our movies take place and where Sonic the Hedgehog 3 happened. Now, I'm not I don't know if you're familiar with this with the Sonic theory that Metal Sonic is Sonic roboticized. Now, I don't believe that theory is going to be canon. I do love that theory. It's one of my like favorite Sonic theory videos of all time. That's definitely not the direction they're going to take it in because if it was, then there wouldn't be an army of Metal Sonics. And I also don't think they'd bring back roboticization. Like, I don't think they'd bring that back in the movie franchise because in the movies the animals aren't powering the machines, so there wouldn't be any point in that. But like having Metal Sonic come from a bad future where Eggman won and is like fueled off Sonic's power using his quills, that seems like something that could very well happen in the movie, and I would just love to see it. Another part of that theory, though, is that Metal Sonic came from the bad future, like where Eggman had already conquered the world. That's another theory about Sonic CD that the Sega Scourge, who also made the what's it called? The Metal Sonic and Soccer Boss Size theory. He also mentioned that part in his video. I feel like that part's very plausible, where like Amy and Metal Sonic came from the bad future where Eggman won and like totally conquered everything. I feel like that part of the theory could very well like come to pass. Like that seems like something that could very well be adapted. And if they are adapting Sonic CD and like implementing time travel, it sets up Silver the Hedgehog to like make his debut, because if time travel and like fixing ruined futures is a theme, it would be a wasted potential to not bring in Silver the Hedgehog, the character whose intro game was all about time travel and fixing a bad future. It'd be a waste not to bring him in, and it would also give the fans exactly what they want. The fans want Silver games. Well, most of them do, and I definitely want one, because Silver, like, in IDW, Silver's finally getting like the recognition he deserved, like in the Zombat arc where he got to go super. Like, Silver's finally starting to get some more recognition. It would be a shame to not waste this character that so many fans want to see. And I know this isn't exactly a new theory or new opinion, but if Sonic the Hedgehog 4's end credits scene teases the Chaotix, if there's a fifth movie, and based on the popularity of previous ones, there probably will be a fifth movie, the fifth movie could very well adapt Sonic Heroes, because we know Shadow's alive. Speaking of that, that's another theory. Will Shadow appear in the fourth Sonic movie? Now, he might, but I honestly think it'd be a waste to have him appear yet. I feel like saving him for a potential fifth movie or spin-off series would go better, because like it would make more sense to wait to use Shadow. Like, Shadow is a golden character, especially now. Now that he's more akin to like Game Shadow, where he's like finally starting to let go of his past and his hate. I feel like it would be better to save him for the fifth movie, because he's a golden character now, and I mean like golden character. Like, he's a really written character. His current character arc is pretty much done for right now, depending on whether or not they like. Yeah, and if Sonic 5 is adapting Sonic Heroes, then shaving Shadow for that, like for the adaptation of Sonic Heroes, would be more fitting than bringing him in if they're trying to adapt CD. So if they do go in the direction of adapting Sonic CD, I feel like they would have to save Shadow for they'd have to shave Shadow for the fifth movie for it to pay off better. The reason I say this is because it's easier to adapt. Like, so far, the Sonic movies are adapting the games like pretty accurately. Of course, making their own changes that make sense in the Sonic movie universe. It'd be easier to adapt a different version of Sonic CD and like have it without Shadow than to shove Shadow into like a game he was never really a part of. And they could do it. Now, I don't doubt that they like with the way they're writing the Sonic movies. I don't doubt that they could like write it pretty good. But I feel like it's easier to just save him for a game he's already in than shove him in a game where he's not. Or if they want to use Shadow, it could be like the alternate future Shadow who was like never awakened. They could use that Shadow, but they can't use like the Shadow we like saw in the third movie. Because like they could definitely do that, but I feel like bringing in like the Shadow we saw would just waste his potential for a fifth like a Sonic Heroes adaptation. Another reason I doubt that they're gonna like use Sonic Heroes for the fourth Sonic movie, or yeah, for the fourth Sonic movie. Another reason I doubt that they'd use Sonic Heroes is because we don't have enough characters for that yet. So far, the only like game characters we have is Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Amy, and Metal Sonic. For Sonic Heroes, we need more characters, meaning if they wanted to adapt it, they'd either have to radically change the plot or they'd have to like shove in all these characters who weren't even teased. And so far, they haven't been doing that. So far, there's only been like adding new characters in movies who were teased in like the previous movie's end credits. So since we only got Metal Sonic and Amy, Sonic CD seems more likely. Now they could do it like they did Knuckles, where they make it clear that he's in the movie by putting him in the like teasers and like the trailers. They could do that, but that would only work with a few characters. I feel like shoving in all the different characters into that like movie would just like it would just like take away the potential of future like movie releases. So I don't feel like they'd go that route. But then again, they could, and if it's well written and they pull it off, it would like make the movie better if they could pull it off. But in my opinion, it would be too high of a risk. But hey, those are my opinions about what the fourth and fifth Sonic movie could entail. If you agree with what I'm saying, like and subscribe. Or if you disagree, please comment down below why, as I love hearing different people's reasons for what they think could happen in the Sonic movie. Now, I know this is a cringe YouTuber thing to say, but it would mean a lot if you could subscribe, as most of you who are watching this video probably won't be. And it'd be nice if you could. I'm Coplef, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and see you all in the next video, which will probably be tomorrow.